here with John Smoltz ahead of Game 6. John, we have both made it to Houston. That's the first goal here. Game 5 the other night in Philadelphia. What a game. What a series this has been. What were your thoughts around watching Game 5 start to finish? Justin's start on the mound, for one, didn't have his best stuff early, but ended up finding a way to have a good start.
Yeah, it was a good old-fashioned grinder. You've been there, done that. When you can find a way to get outs. The game had very big moments of which I would think that Houston Royals, and they won 3-2 as they cashed in on those moments, both defensively and offensively. I thought first and third, one out. Marsh up for Philadelphia. That was the game, and he didn't put it in play. So, this series has always been a fast strike, home run hitting Philadelphia Phillies to kind of like turtle-like, pitch great, bullpen great, score enough Houston Astros, and that's why they're up 3-2 right now.
What did you think about that catch in the ninth inning?
Oh,
Did you think he had a chance? Did you think it was out? I mean, that Chas McCormick catch was an all-timer.
It was. I thought it was going to be at least a double, maybe a triple, and who knows where it bounces. When he hit it, I thought he squared it up, and I'd been talking about him trying to stay on the ball because he'd been really struggling offensively, and he did it right there, stayed on the ball and used his opposite field power. Being left-handed certainly was an advantage for McCormick's catch, and I think that offensively and defensively and everything that Houston was in the regular season, they're showing that in the postseason, and they're really not missing too many beats when it comes to executing.
Tonight, Game 6, a great pitching matchup. Framber Valdez, Zach Wheeler. Let's start with Framber, who we saw earlier in this series in Game 2. Was dominant, looked great. What did you see from him in Game 2 that made him so dominant?
Well, the biggest thing is, as good as his sinker is, he's got to be able to throw strikes. And if he can throw strikes, he gets a lot of hits, a lot of outs, and he gets a lot of ground balls. So I think the biggest thing for Framber is if he can throw strikes, pound that curveball, he's got to make those right-handers aware of the ball down. And if it's down, they're going to have a hard time squaring it up, and that's why there's a lot of ground balls.
What do the Phillies have to do tonight to make an adjustment from what they saw earlier in the series?
Phillies are going to have to find a way to get the ball up in the zone, and that's a hard thing to do. And when you get the ball up against a sinker baller, then you have a chance to get success. If you don't, you're just going to be pounding the ball on the ground. You got to find hits that way. And I think really you can't really sit on anything. You just got to sit on location and hope that the location wins out.
On the other side of things, Zach Wheeler had been great in the postseason. World Series, he was good, not himself, I would say. What do you expect out of the Astros tonight? Do they come out with the same sort of game plan, like let's attack him early, or do they try and put some pitches in him? Because it looks like he's starting to drag a little bit in this late in the year.
Yeah, it's a tough call because you certainly want to execute whenever you can on fastballs, which you're going to see a lot of them. But at the same time, you don't want a lot of quick outs either and let him get deep into the game. The way that Houston wins this series is, yes, they get into the pen and they use that pen the way the Phillies had to use it all series, and hopefully that is something that it becomes harder to do for Philly. So I would think that they're going to attack the fastball, but it's got to be the fastball they want. And that's going to be the difficult part of it. I think for Wheeler, he will grind this thing out. He's only going to probably go 4 or 5. And that's the way an elimination game is. Unless you got a big lead and you're showing your manager no reason to come out, first chance they can, they're going to get their high leverage guys in there.
I believe it was in 91. You had to start team up 3-2. We won't talk about the end result of that series, but you yourself had a great start. What are the thoughts and emotions tonight for the Astros? You never want to get to a Game 7, right? You want to end it right here?
There's no doubt. I mean, it's an anxious moment for Game 7 starters because if you're Houston, you don't want to have to pitch, but you got to be prepared to pitch in case they lose. If you're Philadelphia, and I've been on both sides of it, you're just hoping that 7th game gets there. And I think it's a hard game to close out in the sense that you have that lead, you're at home, and you feel like you got 2 to win 1. But the reality is you don't want to get to that second game.
Right.
You don't want – Game 7s have a way of evening things out and neutralizing whatever advantage you have. So it is 2 to win 1, but it's this one they want to win.
Well, who would have thought in 2019 the Astros were in the same situation? Justin and Garrett Cole on the mound in a 6-7. We all know how that turned out. So
craziest World Series I'll ever do. There will never be another one like it. No team won their home games.
Yeah, that was wild. There's not the general public I don't think is big fans of the Astros, but Dusty Baker A lot of people are rooting for him.
Yeah.
Myself personally, I mean, for him to get that first one as a manager would be so special. You got to play against a lot of his teams in your day. Do you have any Dusty Baker stories for us?
That
You can share.
I love Dusty, and competing against him, you knew his ball club was going to embody what he is, and he's all about the ability to think about a team and getting personalities to play together, and he's dealt with it all. He's been with every scenario you can imagine, every personality you can imagine, and this one here would wipe the slate clean, and this would give him not only a Hall of Fame induction, but a ring that probably has awaited him for a while. Playing against Dusty, I could always see him over there with the same toothpick and the same look on his face, and never see him too carried away, but always prepared, and I think that's the best thing his teams are known for.
Last one for you. The other night with Dusty Baker, Dusty had somebody warming up in the second inning and kept sticking with his guy. And I know talking to Justin that night, he was super appreciative that Dusty let him get that far, and especially that last out after the Harper double. He could have pulled him out, and we're not talking about Justin having a win.
Right.
Did you think Dusty was going to pull him out, or were you?
No, he's been pretty true to his starters. He knows his guys are horses. That's why all season they led all of baseball on innings, and they led all of baseball on basically every category. So I think he understands the guy at hand and what he's got left and what he's capable of doing. And that's the beauty of Dusty. He's not afraid to have a gut and to go with it, and he doesn't always have to play by the numbers. And I think that's the value of his kind of being around, doing that long-time managerial deal, and it's paid off.
John, thanks, my friend. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.